Intro. Ladies and gentlemen, before I left Toronto for the World Championship, I called up the MGM bed. But what I did not know, that the bedroom was so big, I could fit in all of you. And as I opened the door from floor to ceiling, what do you think I saw? This is a round bed and it's red plush velvet. And you see, there's this drape across here, all around. And right around it is a ceiling mirror. And from here down to the bottom are also mirrors. It also has a platform like this. And I thought, wonderful. When I practice my speech, I'd be on this platform. And also, I saw that in that mirror, at the middle of the mirror, was a water sprinkler. Why do you think if it gets too hot? So I thought this will be great. At that time, 1986, 31 years ago, there wasn't a lot of videotaping at that time. The district governor lent me a videotape recorder. So my partner and I felt this is a great place to do it. He put the videotape recorder right there across the room so that I can project. Because normally I speak very softly like I started. So when I have to project that way, I have to focus on that videotape recorder. So the Toastmasters from Toronto and Ontario came every morning at 7 a.m. to help me practice. And that was why they were called the Knights of the Round Bed. And everybody stood in the bed and jumped on it like you would. So one night though, as my coach and I were practicing way into midnight, he called up room service. And a young busboy came, maybe a summer student, he did not know the room. And he looked at the massive room and the massive, not king size, imperial size bed, because after all, this was the MGM Grand Hotel and everything was in massive proportions. And then he saw the video camera, pointed right at the platform on the bed.
Oh no.
So he looked at me and said, "Have a good time, madam." Lay down the tray. And to my coach, who looked 20 years older than me, he said, "Sir, take it easy." To which Fraser said, "Why? If she dies, she dies." So what does this have to do with winning? Everything. Because everything that you do psychologically and physically to make you feel good, to enhance yourself, gives you the winning edge. So ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to give you strategies for presenting in any presentation which makes you feel as though you're a winner. And to me, winning is not everything, it is not the only thing. Winning to me is being able to address your needs and audience needs in a presentation that touches them and allows you to address and give your skills. So, enhancing strategies for presentation. All of you do presentations at work, correct? Or almost all of you. And I will show you how to do that. And I would love for you to participate in all the activities. Submit your name to be coached, because one part of this process is to show you how the coaching process works. So if you have a 1-minute speech that is repeatable, that you know by heart, and I think Paishi, you'll tell me that. Are there 2 people who would be coming, or is it completely volunteers? Two, okay.
Unless it's another volunteer on top of that.
Okay, on top of that. But this is a very important part of the learning because you'll see in action what are those things that I'm talking about. And you'll see them doing one thing and then just a little bit of coaching, just a little bit of tip would enhance the presentation. And I would like you if you give suggestions too. But the most important objective, you have to learn, you have to laugh, you have to enjoy. So, I would also like you, as you are going through this, to think, what is it that you can apply to your own life and learning in your presentations? How will you be able to help your club or district speaker as they go on through the ranks? Because after all, how long has it been since an Australian won? A long time ago? Or has one ever won?
2009.
None.
2009.
2009, so it's too long ago, okay? Time to win again. So this is how to hook and hold the brain's attention. The first thing that you need to do is this. You have to think, are they in a resourceful state? This is a resourceful state. The learning is different from a learning state. For example, if you're feeling sad, are you in a resourceful state? No. If you're hungry, James, are you going to be in a resourceful state? If you're worried you're going to get fired, are you going to be in a resourceful state? No. So everyone comes with this kind of baggage, comes to the room. I live from far away. I wasn't sure how I could get here, and it was so great that Peishi made everything go together so that James was there to see me and so on. So, before you even teach anything, you have to make sure that the people that are hearing your voice will be in a state of learning, a state of fascination, a state of curiosity. So, notice, what did I do, first of all, to put you in that learning state, resourceful state? Yes.
You told a story and it was funny.
Great.
And you made a point and you then sort of wove it into what we're about to do today.
Exactly. So you can do that or you can do something else. You can sing, you can dance, you can exercise in front of people, but get them into a resourceful state. Now, one very important thing is that you have to have relevant activities. And folks, I'll put you in a very short exercise that allows your brain to really learn faster. Would you like to do that? Stand up there. Okay, I'm going to go here so that you can see me, okay? With your hand in the air, write mother. Mother. With your other hand, write father. I want you to be flexible. So, father. Focus on my hips. Hands on your hips. Do as I do. With your hips, write lover. Thank you so much. If I had a mood meter here, an energy meter, would your energy level be higher or lower than when you started? Higher. Of course. So what else do you have? The links of connection of mind, body, and spirit. We are not just brains, we are not just mouths. All of us have hearts and emotions and thinking and challenging and the spiritual part of us. So the more you connect your presentation to all the things that's important to your audience, the better for you. And of course, the pleasure, the laughter, the confidence, the satisfaction, and the maximum attention time. So you want to avoid harm. So I can absolutely guarantee you, you will not feel bad at this point. Nobody will be downgraded. Nobody's hand will be slapped. Nothing like that. You want learning to be fun. And this says curiosity. And where is that brain gym? All right, I'm going to give you an evidence, a demonstration of brain gym. One hand on your nose, another hand on your ear, the other hand on your other ear, one hand on your nose, the other hand on your other ear, and then on your other ear, and then nose, and ear, faster, 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 faster. See, folks, what they say is that there's a meridian, an imaginary line in front of us. And every time you cross that meridian, your right brain and your left brain work together. You know that there's a right brain that is good for creativity. And you know that there's a left brain that's good for logic and mathematics and IT and engineering and so on. So the more you get them together, the better for you. So even just doing these kinds of activities will make it really, really good. So, next bit. I'd like you to be able to prepare a speech that has a universal message and it addresses audience needs and it tickles the funny bone because what do you think? Do you always have to have humor when you speak? Only if you want to be paid. That was given by Glenn Rogers, who's a wonderful comedian and makes friends with everyone. What does it mean to challenge the mind? A strong, interesting, novel message. It said that everything has been done in the world, but you can always say it differently. Like if I have presentations all over, do they present the way I do? No. So I present in a novel way and touches the heart. Something that is part of you. Something that will touch people's hearts or pocketbooks because that always hurts when it hurts the pocketbooks. And involving the whole person. How many times have I involved you now, just from the beginning? How many times? At least 3, right? Which you came with me. This is very important. And how to prepare. How many of you love to prepare presentations, speeches, reports, or anything else? Anybody love to do that?
No.
No, of course not. That's hard work, right? You go through all the research and everything. So, Hemingway said, there is no good writing, only good rewriting. So what I want you to do when you want to present, put down whatever notes you have in point form. I call that brainstorming. It was like pieces of your brain going onto the paper. And then just put it together and green light and then red light to make it better. But read, rewrite, retest your speech. And that is the best way to go about it. And of course, I said at the beginning, prepare yourself. If you know your speech goal, like I do, because I lived it, then it's a lot easier to be able to speak with heart, with emotion, and see to your audience. And then practice. Does practice make perfect? No, it only makes permanent. If you practice badly, you will be permanently presenting badly. Okay, so you want to be able to present in a way so that it's the best way you can do it. And some people, it's very helpful to have somebody, even your club members, even anybody, to help you coach and me prepare better. So, when you practice, I'd like you to practice before as many different audiences as you can have. And you see, I travel the world over and I present in many, many different places. And it's such a joy to do that because every audience is a different mix. Each one has a unique quality and it's a wonderful quality. But when I ask those people who are volunteering, I'd like you to give me a repeatable, memorized 1-minute segment of either a presentation or a story. I do a workshop called Weave a Little Magic with Stories. And oh, how the stories blossom and grow and glow when coached with the best way. So when you are asking for help, ask for specific things. For example, you know this is not my language, right? What do you think is my original language?
Tagalog?
Tagalog, yes, Filipino. And this is why I sometimes don't say the things the way you say them, but I must assure you that no matter how ungrammatical or inarticulate it may sound, when I think it in Tagalog, it's perfect. Acknowledge and try every idea. Sometimes your coach will tell you, oh, but I don't, you feel, oh, but that's not my personal way. Forget the personal way. You don't start out being a champion skier the whole time. You fall, but you try something. Acknowledge every bit of inspiration or suggestion and try it anyway. But then you can know that at the end it's really your speech, your report, and you can do whatever you want with it. But try first to see how great it could be, because you might like it very well. And then mark your speech. Before, I used to put going up, going down, big eyes, pointing this way, doing this. I do that. But now we have the magic of videotaping. So I ask, please videotape my speech. Please record my speech. It's even just for your own special needs, right? You cannot ever see how you look unless you see that recorded. And tonight when I present at White Horse Toastmaster, they have offered to videotape my speech and put it on district thing. So you'd be able to see it there, I hope, because somebody will be videotaping my 70-minute presentation tonight. And then listen and hear the final version again and again, whether you are washing dishes or driving or doing. In fact, one Toastmaster did this while he was making love. He was remembering his speech. And he did a great speech, but failed in his marriage. So I'd like to give you some coaching highlights. Let's start now. We'll start the coaching now. But there's something that I'd like you to remember, and this is a very important thing. How many of you get a little fidgety, worried, anxious up here when you're presenting? Yes. Most of us do. So what I'd like you to remember is that any presentation is a gift that you give from your talents, your service, your knowledge, from you to your audience. So I'd like you to say and do what I do. Everybody, a presentation, do it with my hands. A presentation is a present from me to my audience. You see, once you consider that as a present, then you don't worry about how you work out here. You have the talent, you have the expertise. That's why you're in front of people. And when you give of your talents, when you share of your knowledge, when you enjoy helping other people do better, then that is a gift, a blessing, and you will be applauded and be warmly welcomed for that. So there are other points, but I'm hoping that this will come out in the presentation or the coaching that I give. So we start off. Who would do the first volunteering?
Demetrius.
Yes. Would you like to? Yes.
Yes, I volunteer. If you want to understand the future, you need only look at the past. Famous entrepreneur Mr. Jay Watterson said that, and I think that applies to our current infrastructure crisis, in that we currently have congestion on our roads. We don't have clear roads anymore or clear air, and it's quite polluted. I suggest that we look at the past and adopt what we can use from that and what we can learn. In the past, they had motorbikes. I propose to everyone that motorbikes are a more efficient way to travel because they pollute less. There's less space on the road. Generally, you can fit 3 to 4 motorbikes per car. They're more fuel efficient, 70% more fuel efficient than a car on average, and they're a lot more fun. On my daily commute, I enjoyed a lot more on the motorbike than on the train or in the car. So to wrap up, I think we shouldn't spend our life stuck in traffic. I think we should go back to the golden age when everyone had motorbikes and were happy.
Courageous up here. Put your. Now you're not done.
I'm not done yet.
So, and then I'm gonna put this away. You know about Adam and Eve, correct? They went to the Garden of Eden and everything was great until they made a sin. And so they realized that they became naked, and they took a leaf of the fig leaf and covered their private parts. So Dimitri and everybody else, whenever you are using this figure, you are covering your private part, a fig leaf figure. And it's not a gracious thing, so some people do this. But that is the behind the fig leaf. So if there's anything that I would like you never to do, I would never want you to do that. I would even like you to put your pocket, your hand in your pocket. That's even better. One hand pocket is better than putting this, because look, this is very gracious. This one feels you're either cold or you're defensive or you're angry. So make sure that your gestures portray exactly what you are saying. So, okay, start from the start. Now, the way I do it, folks, is not the sandwich effect like Toastmasters do. I give you specific suggestions and I ask you to repeat it. Okay, so start, and I will stop you at any time and I'll ask you to repeat it in some way, which I will coach you with. Go ahead.
Sounds good. If you want to understand the future, you need only look at the past.
Okay, who are you talking to? These people?
Yeah, everyone.
Connect. This is a very important thing. You need connection more than anything else. Connection means you're connecting with me. I'd like you to think, even you, Dimitri, that there is a rope between us. You've done tug of war, right? Okay, I'd like you to hold my rope. Everybody put your hand out. Hold my rope. And when I pull you, you go forward. When I push you, you go back. Pull you, you go forward. Pull you, you go forward. This is what I'm saying. And I'm doing it not just with my body, but with my eyes. Because even if you're not connected with that person, physically with the rope, your eyes are very, very strong. So you look at that person not like a spectator who's daydreaming, but as a hunter looking for prey. Okay? That connection has to be very, very strong. So Dimitri, the first thing that you have to do is look at people's eyes and say, if you want to see the future, consider the past. Try that.
If you want to see the future, you need to only look at the past.
Okay, this is another thing for Toastmaster. I'd like you to start with a bang. Because if you start like this, it's not going to go over well. You see, we almost only give, or the audience only take away about 10% of what we say. So what do you have to do, folks? Pump, 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 40% more. You want to be able to do this much so that you can get maybe 30, 50% of what I'm giving. So Dimitri, you cannot be laid back in that particular presentation. Look some people strongly in the eye and say, if you want to see the future, then look at the past. Okay?
So I don't do it to everyone, I just sort of focus on.
Focus on one or two. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you want to see the future, you need only look at the past.
Good, that's a lot better, right? Except, I want to do it pump, pump, pump. Very strong. Start with a bang. It's as if you're on fire and you're about to do it because you're starting. You always want to start with a bang. So very strong, very strong. I mean, when you're getting angry, I'm sure you. So I'd like you to have that passion because I want you to start with a bang. Go ahead.
If you want to understand the future, you only need to look at the past.
Okay, so go ahead. Go to the next sentence.
Famous entrepreneur Mr. Jay Waterson said that, and that applies to our current Infrastructure troubles.
Okay, okay. What piano are you playing? So, it's not even important whether you say the word right, whether you say the name right. But you take it like these people are in your kitchen and you're talking to them. After all, a speech is just a large conversation. So you say a famous person, and then you say the name or not. And they said, okay, start that. So what I'm trying to get you to do is to get the conversation more conversationally, but enlarge. Okay? Like you are talking to us, we're having tea at your kitchen table, but you are telling us this story. Go ahead.
Famous entrepreneur Mr. Jay Watterson said that, and I think that applies to our current infrastructure troubles.
Okay, what is it that you're tapping in? Okay,
I'll
you
take it
see,
away out of my pocket.
that's great. So this is it, folks. When I do, see, my pants don't have pockets because it's a very, very big temptation to do something with what's in your pocket. So remember, you are giving this to those folks, okay? You want people to know about this famous person that you're talking about. And then you are presenting to them with your heart, with your passion. So give it that.
Famous entrepreneur Mr. Jay Watterson said that, and I think that applies to our current infrastructure troubles. Back in the day, they didn't have huge amounts of congestion or bad air, and there was a lot more space on the road. And what did they have that we don't? A lot more motorbikes.
Okay, so there are things that you throw away and there are things that you focus on. For example, when I speak this way, this is a throwaway because I would like to be able to focus on something special. You notice the difference. To give that contrast, you throw away something like you did at the beginning, and then you want to say something about the motorbike. That time when there are motorbikes. Okay, so fast the
That's
first
the
time,
focus.
and then the focus will be slower and stronger for the motorbike.
Back in the day, they didn't have congestion issues or current issues with pollution, but what they did have was a lot more motorbikes.
Okay, so you could even say, back in the days they didn't have pollution or congestive issues, but what they did have is a lot of motorbikes. You're going to do motorbike
They didn't used to have issues
Back
such
in
as
the days,
back in
remember,
the
fast, okay?
back in the day, they didn't have issues of
It's
congestion.
not like this. Back in the day, it's not like this. Back in the days, it's like that, right? You're back in the day. They did not have issues like pollution or congestion. But what they did have, yes,
It's quite animated, I guess.
yeah.
Back in the day, they didn't have things like pollution and congestion, but what they did have was 10 times the amount of motorbikes.
Okay, show me how you love the motorbike. Show us how excited you are. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
The poses and the postures, and then I talked about the gestures and dramatization. So it showed that always drama is a very interesting thing. And if the next speaker does not allow us to do this, I will explain to you a bit more. Okay, next presenter.
Just allow me to give a little bit of background what I'm going to tell you, otherwise it would have no point or make no sense for me. That was the last part of my third speech I did called Heroes. So I first touched on why we so or we like superheroes so much and how we link to superheroes. And then I took some 3 heroes from the past to relate to. The one was 2009 from the Philippines. The other one was Martin Luther King, and I quoted his 2 parts of his famous speech. of I Have a Dream, and also William Wilberforce that fought for the slave trade to end. And then I come to the conclusion, so I'll just give you the last bit of that. The world needs heroes today again. Women and children enslaved in the sex industry and human trafficking, being abused, raped, tortured, and killed. The world needs heroes. Women and children, they enslaved or caught up in domestic violence. They being terrorized, beaten up, killed. The world needs heroes again. The women and children of today need heroes to pick them up, heroes to hold them tight, heroes to wipe away their tears, heroes to keep them safe. The world needs you to be a hero today. I have
been First of all, Willem, we don't need that introduction. You really start with a bang and say the world needs heroes. Okay, and also, I'd like you to keep this in mind before you start. When you are presenting, make the gesture come first. I'll show you the difference. If I'm speaking like this and I'm going with the gesture, then it comes somehow, what I say gets diminished in the process. However, when I see what else I would do. The world needs heroes. Do you see that I did not diminish what I'm saying by moving? What I'd like you to do is to move first and then say it. Okay, we start right at the start with stronger, with a bang.
The world needs heroes today. Continue.
But I like you and everybody, you know about the pregnant pause, right? When you move in here and you position yourself and you pause, what happens? Everybody speaks and looks at you. So, take that opportunity to get everyone's focus on you. Then you say, the world needs heroes. Okay, so you start there, I'll walk, and then
The world needs heroes today.
good. So go ahead. And by the way, so this is going forward. But if you go backward, that means you're doubtful. So if you want to be going forward a lot, then you have to start from here. Because you see how it's not great to do that, but if you keep doing this and moving, see how strong that is? And then when you say the world needs heroes, don't pause. The world needs heroes today. Okay?
Right.
And move first and then continue with your speech.
The world needs heroes today. Women and children enslaved in the sex industry and human trafficking.
Okay, this is good. The first one is good. Now, you start with the bang. The world needs heroes today. Pause a little bit. And then move your body, positioning. Women and children enslaved in traffic industries. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving my posture. I'm also making it fast. You're giving statistics, right? And when you give a consequence here, also give a consequential thing there. Let me see. I'll go ahead with that. Women and children.
With just one woman and
You
children.
start with women and children.
Women and children enslaved in sex trafficking and the sex industry.
Okay, is it looking at you, folks? No. Where's the connection?
my words and I turned them around.
Here so that you don't hear. This is better. Then
Yeah.
the light is not
Yeah.
against you. But that is the most important thing. You cannot let that rope go. The connection is the most important thing between the speaker and the audience. Go.
Women and children enslaved in the sex industry and human trafficking, being raped, abused, tortured, and even killed.
Is it looking? Yes. Okay, good. So what I'd like you to do is to say women and children in the slave industries and human trafficking go this way, and then the third one go this way. When you have a connection, like one sentence or one word, 2 words, 3 words, you go this way, that way. So that, but look at their eyes, okay? Focus on somebody. Make sure that you are connected very well with that. Go ahead.
Women and children enslaved in the sex industry, and human trafficking, being tortured, being raped, being abused, and killed. The world needs heroes today. Women.
That's good, right?
Yes.
That's a lot better.
But
But,
I was moving backwards again, I realized.
but I want you to pause at hero, at that point, at the connection before you say, because you pause this, you give the research, and then you stand on your point again. The world needs heroes today, because you are repeating that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so the last 2 words so that I can hear your pause, and then that strong word about heroes today. No, you don't need this.
Now I must see what's the last 2 words, otherwise I start from the beginning.
Okay.
And even murder. The world needs heroes again.
No, not again. Just say the world
Yeah.
needs heroes
There's not
today.
again in my speech. I don't know why I say it. And even murder. The world needs heroes. Women and children caught up in domestic violence, being tortured, being abused, and being killed.
Okay. I don't know how women and children can be abused this way. It doesn't sound. So it's like women and children caught up in domestic violence, being tortured, slapped, abused. Okay? When you give your gesture, make sure that it goes with your words. So one of the things you need to do is, how do I really say that gesture? If I give you a slap, that's the best way. He has to have that. I didn't touch him, but see, it's strong enough. So it's strong enough that he has to do that. That's very good. That's excellent, James.
Women and children caught up in domestic violence, being, what was my words again?
Tortured.
Women and children being caught up in domestic violence, being terrorized, being abused, and even being murdered. The world needs heroes again.
Okay. This is what I call dramatization. Because when you're speaking to the audience and you're the narrator. But if you want to be stronger, you can enact it and dramatize it and say, women and children caught up in domestic violence, being slapped, being beaten, being thrown at. The world needs heroes today. Okay? So you dramatize as if you are the abuser. Then it gets a lot more strong.
Slap that I can get. Women and children being caught up in domestic violence.
Now, focus on somebody, okay, when you do that, or focus on an inner thing, as if there's a woman here, a little child here, and somebody that you can throw things out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come the name of my words. There we go. Women and children caught up in domestic violence, being terrorized, being abused, and being killed. the world need heroes.
Excellent! Did you see the difference now and from the beginning? And really, we had what, 5 minutes or less to be able to do that. And you feel good, right? You really have it in your body now. Because this is what I mean by muscle memory. When you really practice and enact this way, you'll remember the speech. You cannot, the muscles make you go. Anybody heard my speech? The win got it good from folks. You are very welcome to either go to YouTube. There are 3 of my videos, including the winning speech. And this is the high expectations. The winning speech is called Pygmalion. And the essence of it is what?
And the essence of it is we can all be Pygmalions. We can all encourage people to improve.
We can all encourage people to improve by knowing that they will do their best. When we expect the best of them, people will do best for us. And that is at YouTube. Or you can just go to my website, arabellabengson.com, and there are 3 videos there. There is also the whole handout that I sent, and you can get that handout from there. And also there are many other things that you can look at. So, high expectations. I don't know you from Adam, right? But do I have high expectations of you and of myself? Yes. I know that I'm an excellent coach. I know that you're an excellent presenter. I know that even a diamond has to be cut and polished to show its brilliance. And therefore, when I ask you to give of what you have, of your talent, of your expertise, I know that you will give it to me. And I have no doubt that you will improve more than 100% from the beginning to the end. So high expectations and your ability to accomplish them. I also visualize that this is an audience that is open, that want to help each other. And I really believe in my ability to address your needs. So when you ask for things and you want to know, I am sure, because I have it in my talents, I have it in my expertise, I know that I can help you. Get yourself to feel that way, and you will be a much better, more confident speaker that way. The physical and psychological readiness. I'm raring to go. Where was our speakers? Not at the beginning, but afterwards, I got them to be raring to go. And some people say, I'm so worried, I'm so terrible. I mean, I've got this heebie-jeebies, and I say, thank the adrenaline rush, because it gives you the energy to put out what you need in your presentation. Thank you for the adrenaline rush. And always behave as a competent, creative, and caring professional, and delight your audience. Give it all you got. Now, I wish it was like this, but there are times when I fall on my face too. Has anybody done that? You work so hard for something and then you sabotage yourself and it doesn't work. And this happened at the regional finals or semi-annuals, because my coach came to me and said, this regional final from Australia was a beautiful, gorgeous 23-year-old fitness instructor. He talked about Yul Brynner and he was saying, etc., etc., etc. And the more my coach tells me that, the more I felt my heart sinking. You see, how could I do this? How could I compete with a 23-year-old fitness instructor who's gorgeous, especially because we had a Hollywood ball that night. We were to come in our best Hollywood costume. Well, I came as Wimpy Snow White. What do you think he came out in? Choose a costume.
Tarzan.
Superman.
Incredible Hulk.
You're absolutely right. This is psychological warfare. How can I compete with the Invincible Man? And folks, I was so, I can't remember the lines that I have practiced 100 times. And I said to my coach, go down there, tell them I'm sick, I'm not competing. It's worthless. Why would I have to be there and embarrass myself? He'll win, look at him. If I had a trophy in my hand, I would exchange it for a date. So he said, Arabella, what are you talking about? You have a speech that addresses the mind and tickles the funny bone and touches the heart. You've done everything you can do to make the best of this speech. You told me that the triumph is not in the trophy, it is in the act of striving to do your best. Besides, you told me to get an empty suitcase. I had to carry this in addition to everything else. Why is that? And then I remembered, I visualized that the trophy was so big, I had to carry an empty suitcase to get it back home. And folks, this was how I felt. Woo-hoo! And the rest is history. But even when in some competitions people say, oh, I don't like that speaker, the other speaker is better. In that competition, the 18 world-class judges did magnificently in handing me the prize. But truly, the triumph is not in the trophy, it is in the striving to be your best. As Doug Mullock says, if you can't be a highway, be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail, but by being the best of whoever you are. And that is how to speak with fun and power.